What time are we supposed to start? Oh. Welcome to Late Chat. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh yeah, oh yeah, whoa, 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 girl, oh, calm down, get out of here. And the horse you rode in on, apprentice, entertain our ones a fan while we get ourselves set up. Hopefully you're doing okay tonight, because we know that we are. And with that being the case, we know that the night just got a lot better, because we showed up to work. And we won't get sued for, well, doing things that obviously go against what we're supposed to do. And, hey, apprentice, we're ready. What are you? Get out of here. Jeez. You know, good help's hard to find sometimes, and that's just how it goes. Unfortunately. But, welcome ones, welcome all. Or in this case, welcome nuns, welcome all. We've got a fantastic show for you lined up tonight. And by fantastic, of course, we mean free. And if there's one thing that's free, it's this show. Because not only would no one want to pay for it, but no one did. So, there's no parameters and controls on it, and we are more than willing to switch it, talk about whatever we want. But thumbnail is made, so we're going to talk about a science fiction technology, right? Well, what is that, you might ask? And you're like, believe you me, no one asked. But we're going to talk about it and tell it anyway, because I don't know why. Anyhow, science fiction, right? It's like one of those things that's a genre and or a field of, a genre. You got your comedies, you got your dramas, you got your science fiction, right? It's the stuff that's science-y, but not quite come to a realization or fruition, right? It's such a large, generalized topic that we can definitely pad an episode talking about it. So, sounds good to us. If you're talking science fiction, you're talking technology, you might be saying, we're not, you are. And that's very true. We're holding up most of the end of this conversation. So, you better hope it's good. But keep hoping, because it's not. The point is that science fiction, okay, in the realm of how many eras it has crossed, how many timelines it has, been privy to. There's so many iterations and takes of science fiction, what it can present, what it can be, and all of the aforementioned things that can be affiliated and attached to it that it brings to, inevitably, fruition, if it's a good enough idea, or it is just in the realm of continually being science fiction and maintaining that aspect of it in its nature, design, and ability to come to fruition. Now, very vague, very loose, we'll get into it, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and miss these ones of comment that came in, so let's keep up with them. Give us 1 sec. Hi. Excellent, yes, hello, hi. All right, back to the content. Well, science fiction, very super, very big, well, hold on, we have one more of comment that came in. Let's see if it's worth stopping the show for. Sup? Irish. Someone sharded. Well, what's up? Good for you, Irish. What's that? Your name? Terrific. We'll put you in for a accommodation. Hold on. Let me talk with management. Hey, management, give a call to the studio. Give it a sec. New technology. Got a communicator pin. Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, do we give special perks for someone who's Irish? Okay, I didn't think so. Are we getting paid for this shit? Yeah, I didn't think so either. All right, stop calling us. Yeah, management thinks they know how to run the place. Well, I'm sorry, dude. We don't give special perks for being Irish, but we also don't give special treatment to anyone who sharts themselves, so I hope you clean yourself up rather nicely. Maybe we'll clean up the rest of this episode and it'll turn out being good. Probably not, but you never know. What you should know is that if you sharded yourself, probably not the kind of information you want to share with the internet in general. But, it's a different time. We grew up in a time where if a kid peed his pants in school, it wasn't necessarily filmed on a cellular device or anything like that. We just called the kid pee-pee pants for a while, and, inevitably, people never forget. Goes with them their whole life. You better change schools. But we hear they made bullying wrong in schools, and you have to even sign some kind of, almost like a prom promise saying, I won't be mean to people. And that's very nice. Good for them. Excellent. Well, clean yourself up. Stop sharding yourself unless you can't help it. In which case, hopefully some kind of technology inevitably comes to a fruition that very well can prevent you from doing such. But, to each his own. Maybe you like sharding on yourself. But that's a whole nother episode. If you want us to do one on that, we're willing to. If that's what the public wants, that's what the public gets. And in this case, looks like you're the only one who sharded yourself. But who knows, the night's young. And by young, it's actually kind of late. Well, for some people. Doesn't matter. Let's get to this other ones of comment that we missed. Subscribing? Oh man, you're going to regret that. But that's all right. That's your algorithm in watch history. You might want to delete your cache after this and consider not. But whatever. Looks like Rachel's dad from Friends. Who? Where? At your window? You better close your blinds. If it's nighttime, you're going to want not people peeking in, especially if they look like Rachel's dad from Friends. Emoji kind of frowny face thing. We don't know what that is, but it probably means someone wants to play Mario Brothers. Looks like almost those blocks that crush you as you're running across. Well, look at this technology. We're getting ones of communication at a time from ones of individual that are like, what the hell is this? And, while there's no direct answer to that, technology. It has come to the point in time where science fiction has caught up to itself. We communicate with management now, unfortunately, out of necessity. They think they know how to run the place, and they make the decisions that all suck. But when we tell them how to do their jobs properly, and they actually do listen to us, which is never, then things work a lot better. So look how technology can catch up to itself. Look at any aspect of a science fiction show that has influenced modern life. Here we are, getting ones of communication at a time from probably not a bot. Maybe. Is that you? Hi, Mom. Anyhow, you should be at your second job. Don't be late. Rent's due, Ma. Someone's got to afford to let us do this. And YouTube's not paying us yet. So keep showing up. We need that income. Anyhow, Redbeard Irish. Excellent. Yes. Go Redbeard. That must be a pirate or something. I don't know. Please stop trying to be the Joker. Yes. Whoever's being the Joker, not cool. A, Batman's on hiatus. Who the hell plays him nowadays? B, whoever is trying to be the Joker, inappropriate. You know why? We'll tell you. Because there's been so many iterations and takes on the Joker that if someone's trying to be them, that kind of grinds our gears. Now, you might be saying, where do you start with the Joker? Where do you go? Is the Joker science fiction? You might be saying, no, yes, and you don't even know what, order you're answering those in because you're answering them backwards when we're asking you forwards. So, yes, stop trying to be the Joker, obviously, because Jack Nicholson did it the best. You might be saying, no, he didn't. Jared Leto did. Well, you know what we think of Jared Leto's Joker? It was fantastic as well. But, Jack Nicholson ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. We're just saying, absolutely, stop trying to be the Joker. You'll never do it better than Jack Nicholson, or, if it's your preference, a Jared Leto. Or that cartoon as well. Does it way better, probably. So, yes, stop trying to be the Joker. Thank you for pointing that out to those people trying to be the Joker, Stephanie. If you didn't point this out, Steph, can we call you Steph? Of course we can. So it's our show, and we get to do what we want. And when we've known you for as long as we have, with, as many stream as we've interacted with you on, Steph, we go way back to once a comment ago. And it reminds us of that time we were talking about the Joker, right? Now, we're going to be honest, Steph. A lot of people try and act like the Joker, right? Not us, obviously. Because we acted like the Joker, we'd be funny. There'd be a little bit of element of entertainment to it, right? But we don't do that, Steph. No, not around here. See, there's a difference between internet celebrities, right? There's your good ones, and there's us, okay? Now, there's got to be a spectrum, right? Obviously. There's good ones, there's us, okay? We call dibs on the ground floor level. All right, Steph, everything else that you watch should and must be guaranteed to be better than this, okay? Because we're the ground floor level. Dibs, we called it. You ever see Walking Dead? We reference this all the time, Steph, If you had been with us ones of streams ago, you would have heard that reference. But since you're here now, we'll tell you anyway. Daryl Dixon said we can call dibs on shit. And we call dibs on being the, best worst internet celebrity there is. Now, yes, we're the worst at it, okay? We accept that fact. And we're okay with it. But at the same time, Steph, we get the accolades that come with being a internet celebrity. What are those, you might ask? Well, they're nothing, really. On occasion, people see you on the street and be like, oh, God, honey, cross to the other side. That guy sucks. Okay? All right. And that's good, Steph. You know why? We're going to be honest with you. We're kind of bigger than we need to be. Okay? And we need as much space as we can get. We don't like people in our personal bubble, Steph. On occasion, we'll let people touch us through the internet. Obviously, because we're a celebrity, Steph. Not a good one, but we are. Okay? So we'll give people their due, and, Steph, you don't have to do it, because I know this is one of our first streams together, even though we go way back to earlier on it, when you were giving us that once a comment, but you can touch us through the internet if you want to, yes. Okay, that's enough, Steph. Now, we don't know if you were able to do it, but just out of precautionary measures, of course, we don't know where you've been, so we don't know where anyone's been on the internet, Steph. That's the thing, you don't know what you're going to get with it, so... sorry, management's calling. Sorry, Steph, you're going to have to hold on for a sec. What do you want? We're on time. We're doing the show. What do you mean go back to science and technology? No. Did you know that Stephanie was busy talking to us? Okay? We're trying to give the fan what they want. Oh, they're not a fan. Well, could have fooled us. We thought everyone was. Okay, stop calling. You're ruining the show. Sorry, Steph. Where were we? Excellent. Let's check up with this other ones of comment that came in so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Please send Charmin. Well, if you sharded, you need Charmin. Here you go. Excellent. Here you go. Take that right through this internet screen. All right. You might be saying, what the fuck was that doing down there? Well, don't worry about it. If we're being honest, it is unfortunate, but on occasion people shart themselves, and we're not saying we do, obviously. We're internet celebrities, so everything we do is perfect, and there's no wrong, except for, everything we do. But you can take a look at us and be like, what inevitable life choices and decisions led you here? And you'd be saying, oh, you're done with that? Excellent. No, thank you. Hope you cleaned yourself up well. You used a little too much. I mean, that's okay. We did offer it, but, it's not free. I don't know if you were around during COVID, but toilet paper was a little hard to come by in some areas. Oh, man, did we load up on that shit and make a killing? I mean, what? That wasn't us. Someone loaded up on that shit. You couldn't find it for within a 10-mile area. Shouldn't have sharded yourself during then, tell you that much. There's a fee attached to all that, but turns out we have a surplus. So, if you know what, just keep that roll. Go ahead. Yeah, use as much as you want. Okay, now, the point is, though, let's get back to this ones of comment before we get too far ahead of ourselves, okay? All right. You throw that piece away. We don't even want it back now. Disgusting, okay? we forgot that we had handed it to you before, if we're being honest, and better safe than sorry. Let us sanitize. Well, we check this other ones of comment. Can you not say hello? Well, we sure can, but we prefer hi, how you doing, howdy, and what's up? Yes, we can say hello. Anyone can say hello if they can say it. Oh, wait. Can you not say hello? Well, yeah, fuck that word. It should be hi, howdy, how you doing? You ever see Seinfeld where Kramer goes to the bank to open an account, and if they don't say hello and give you the greeting, you get a free toaster? You know what's fantastic? Seinfeld. Yeah, you can't really do it now because cell phones kind of make the whole show obsolete in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms, okay? It would solve pretty much every episode instantaneously if they had cellular devices. But Steph, we don't want to segue into Seinfeld and talk about how they have influenced technology, but it's kind of how technology has influenced media, right? It's like it goes full circle, Steph. As you look at what technology has presented, what it has brought to the marketplace, okay, the industry, whether it's a real technology or science fiction technology that maybe inevitably will become technology, right? You look at all of the face of the times, even the live of the streams, right? Oh, crazy stuff. Yeah, where's the good ones? I don't know. Send us the links to those. We'll shut this down. We'll all go watch them, okay? Deal. But since we're here, all right, you have a variety of ways that technology, okay, is influenced by media, influenced by movies and culture. Look at star of the track, right? Hold on. Hey, tell management bring my drink in here. That's not going to work. They're not going to do it because it's already right here. But what we're going to do is take a swig of it while we check this one's of comment that came in, okay? While we avoid saying not hello, because someone told us not to. Sorry, anyone who shows up now from this point forward, we're instructed to not say hello. Cow don't want us to. And if Cow don't want us to, we don't do it. Ain't that right, Cow? Of course it is. You know why? Because me and Cow go way back to once a comment ago, and it was like a stream we were just doing tonight. Okay? Cow told us, don't say hello to these new people. You're interrupting the show. Every time someone comes here, okay, you're starting over. We're never going to get to the end of technology and science fiction. What do those even mean? You haven't even defined them. Oh, yeah, technically we're supposed to, I guess, do that. But, you know what we're not going to do? Give you an accurate description of that. Because, if we're being honest, Steph, can we call you Steph? Of course we can. So, Stephanie, the point is that we get to do whatever we want. And whilst there are little, parameters around it, you can't leave the property. The ankle bracelet says you're restricted to this general area, right? Thing about the internet is, Steph, if they can't track it, they don't know where the fuck you are. But, Steph, that's the thing about feds. They sure have some great technology, and believe you me, if you delete something, it's not gone. Get in a lot of trouble that way, Steph. We ever tell you about that time that Cow was telling us not to say hi to folks? Steph, that's the reason why we never really said hello to you. Because Cow told us not to. And we know that it affected our relationship early on in, many stream of, now. But the thing is, Steph, is that we got to get on with the show. We got to retouch base with what it was originally about. Okay? Thank you, yes, all right. Obviously, all right, thank you. Yes, we know you have your own. Okay? All right, but for real, we didn't need it back. It was yours to keep. Okay? Sorry, Steph. Where were we? Let's check. Now, name a YouTuber for an edit. We don't know what that means, but we're guessing that it's some kind of term that's for good things. Okay, we'll name a YouTuber for an edit. How about Asmon of the Gold? hey, Asmund, why don't you stream snipe this shit and buy this shirt from us for $13,000? It's not worth it, but we know you got the cheese. And if you got the cheese, Asmund, and you're looking to buy a shirt you don't want, will never wear, don't need, and is not worth it, look no forward than spending that cheese here. Buying a shirt from us for 13 grand. You know, the cost of entry to this is free. It's never going to be behind a paywall. All right? There's no additional content, because all of the content is what it is. No one's going to pay for it. That's why it's free. But if there's one thing that we love, it's money. Mainly when people give it to us. So that's why we're selling merchandise for $13,000. Thing is, we don't want just anyone's money. We want rich people's money, right? Now, we're not saying Asmund's rich, but you wanted an edit from a YouTuber, and it's the first one on our head, because, boy, is their content way better than ours. But, you know, if there's one thing we thought that might come of it, is that we could have peddled this wares for 13 grand. Now, like we said, totally not worth it. You know what, Asmund, we take it back. You don't want to buy that shit, just like we said that, you know, you don't. Now, you might have a disposable income where it wouldn't matter if you did or not, but maybe we should have named Mr. Beast. Isn't that dude fucking rich? You know what, Asmund? We love your content and stuff, but you're going to have to fuck off. Get Mr. Beast in here. We take it back. Who the fuck was that? Hey, Cow, get Mr. Beast in here. Hey, Mr. Beast, you got all this fucking money to give away? We're selling shirts for $26,000. Okay, it's $13,000. We jacked the price up on you, Mr. Beast, and that wasn't fair. All right? That's our bad. We got a little ahead of ourselves. We knew you had the cheese, and boy, were we going to try and extract it from you. But that's really Cow's fault, okay? We weren't going to peddle our wares. I mean, don't get us wrong. We do it every opportunity that we can. But if there's one thing that's not worth it, it's this shirt for $13,000. Mainly because it was originally $1 on clearance. But we made it awesome, so now it's awesome. And with that awesomeness, it also comes a hefty price tag of $13,000. So, let's check, make sure we haven't missed ones of chat, and get back to the important stuff at hand of trying to talk about something not related to us. Excellent. Hold on. Name a YouTuber for an edit. Well, you know what, Cal? We've named two now. I don't know if they are YouTubers. Are they YouTubers? A lot of them have jumped ship, and they're streaming on Rumble. Because, you know, they're like, fuck it, we already got our money from YouTube. Well, you know what? We haven't yet, so us. But, you know, they want Rumble. We want money. Looks like there's an opening in the stratosphere for of the best of the worst. That's us. You know, Steph, as we continue this, as we go through, as Cow continually wants us to name random other YouTubers, I don't know why. Oh, for an edit. Sorry, we do know why. You know, Steph, it comes down to the fact that, on occasion, we get a little sidetracked, and that's our bad. You know, you might say that's what leads to us not getting the views, and not getting the subscribifications, right? And we get that as being part of it. The other part is we don't really provide anything useful. And by nothing useful, we mean there's a lot of useful stuff there. You know, you just got to find it. Usually it points you to other places to do so. And, you know, Stephanie, can we call you that? Sometimes people just need a nudge in the right direction. So, you know, if the channel gets a new frozen pizza or a new flavor Pop-Tart they haven't had before. It's backwards. We can't see it. We get it. Frosted strawberry milkshake. Okay? Do you want to go use your money and buy frosted strawberry milkshake Pop-Tarts? That could suck. Or do you want Shyzabox to sit back while his mom gets off her second job, stops by the grocery store, we say, yo, Mom, get another pack of fucking Pop-Tarts in this bitch. Right? And she does. Very nice of you. Love you, Mom. Thanks. So, point is that we can review it then and present it back to all ones of the fan that we send the link to. Again, Mom. Excellent. So, the point is that we've segued a bit talking about these edits that you want, though. Why you would want to edit anything with this is beyond us. By beyond us, we understand it. It's because you want us to finally give some notoriety to these other YouTubers, okay? You're like, name a YouTuber. No one knows anyone except you, Shyzabox. And we're like, yes, we know. Shyzabox, courtesy of Punk Rock Review, right? Name a YouTuber for an edit. Well, we named a couple that people probably never heard of. And you're welcome. But let's get back to it. Let's talk science. Let's talk technology. And by science, we mean not officially science, okay? And technology, whatever that entails. But media has influenced technology in a variety of ways. Look at Star of the Track, right? Yeah, on screen. Show me what's happening. Talk to people on another ship via open channel communication, right? Audio and visual. Then, lo and behold, a mere decade or two later, you have FaceTime. You have Zoom. You have Chat ICQ. Was that face-to-face or just internet chat? I don't know. It doesn't matter. No one uses that anymore. We think that it folded, but that's beside the point. What is relevant to it is the fact that there was a form of communication that was not available to the general public, okay, regardless of how good it operated at inception or when it first rolled out or not, and where it's gotten to this day. When you first saw the, computer on screen, when Captain of the Picard or Captain of the Kirk or Captain of the Benjamin Sisko, who was a commander for a good bit of the show because he was actually, commanding a Deep Space Nine space station. It doesn't matter. Captain Janeway, we could talk captains all night. Or for another couple minutes because there's just a few more. But the point is that, you have all of this technology that finally rolled out and came to fruition. Your FaceTimes are your computer on screen. Okay? Mute it. Cut that audio off. Okay? Cut this audio off. Fair enough. Yeah, mute it. Go to work. Go to sleep. Leave it playing. Let us get the view. You don't got to suffer through it. No sense in that. But you can mute it. Go to bed. You can mute it. Go to a party. Go to work. I mean, that's really all we ask. Entry's free. All you got to do is click on any of the longer videos that we may or may not have. Sorry about that, too, by the way. Preferably the longer one. You mute it, you go to work. You mute it, you go to sleep. We get the view. It's a symbiotic relationship where we give you free crap and we get free view. So, we don't need your money. We want YouTube's money. There's a difference. YouTube's rich. You might be rich too. If you're rich, shit, hook it up. Don't matter. But technology has been influenced by a variety of ways that it was portrayed and seen in the media. Okay? With it being such, people were impressed by it. People got to the point where they wanted that technology that they saw on the big screen or on their local television show that was their favorite. Okay? A quick little spy movie maybe where, someone's talking through a little mic piece or something, okay, to their handler that's a couple, parked vans away. We know that's you, feds. You think you're sly, not FBI. Crazy, right? The point is that you saw all of these aspects of technology that had been in the realm of being in shows and movies that was so impressive, so awe-inspiring to young viewers, young and old alike, that were like, how could we make something like that? How could we have that? How could we make a device with which we could communicate, to have a little computer in the palm of our hand? It's called an Xbox. You have a cell phone, you have an Xbox. That's the thing. You all have cell phones, right? They're Xboxes. technology caught up. You used to have to change and swap cartridges of games in different things, right? That's a technology that has caught up. You bring it digital, you just port it over. Now, there's a whole other topic of conversation around proprietary ownership rights, things of that nature, okay? We understand that. And do you own the game? Do you have the game? Is the game on the disc, or is it a cartridge from the Nintendo of the Switch 2? Okay? The point is that there's a different argument to be made with how some of that technology works, and those are probably entirely different shows altogether, okay? We accept that, obviously, and we know that. But the technology that we are talking about is the stuff that was awe-inspiring that you saw that, would come to fruition. Your Star Trek technologies, okay? Your open communications. Even your Willy of the Wonka technologies, okay? Willy of the Wonka did the same kind of tech in practice and application in the movie, the show, yes, science fiction, okay? But the, application of transporter technology, same thing Star Trek, okay? They had visual communications through screens, okay? There were elements and aspects of it that tied into a lot of it from, all sorts of elements of technology in the science fiction realm, influencing individuals that saw it and later maybe grew up and were a part of its creation and inception. Let's check this ones of chat that came in. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Danny, or can we call you Drilladrexabrex? Drilladrexabrex, ever since we had that birthday party, it's like the cops won't leave us alone, okay? It got pretty raucous that night, and a lot of neighbors reported it. The worst thing is, Danny, Cal didn't want us to greet anyone else tonight, okay? You were late, Danny, and we can forgive you. We know that you were at the better stream that was going on. That probably just ended. You should have reminded us about it so we could have watched it too. We would have just started now. But, too late now, Danny. We already missed the good stream, and it looks like it's over and you're here. So, point is that, Danny, Cal didn't want us to say hi to anyone else tonight. We think it's a setup. We think that maybe, potentially, they don't want us to succeed. And it'd be like, not cool, really. But what also isn't cool, Danny, is your cake got a little old and expired. Rick wrote his name on it. You were probably still here. It's still up here. Yep, sure is. You can't really see it because we hung a rainbow, Danny. There's always a brighter side on the other end of the rainbow. But studio's still under construction, so that's what we get, Danny. But your cake's still up there. You should have put it in the fridge. Shit's kind of rotten now. It's been hot these last couple days. But that's beside the point, Danny. Cal didn't want to say hi to you, but since you entered the chat and said stuff, well, you run the show now, Danny, if we're being honest. We go back once the streams ago, and believe you me, that holds a lot of water around here. And by water, we mean go juice. And in this case, we're running out of it. But good thing we have a backup, Danny. We come prepared. So we'll see where the night takes us. We're talking science. We're talking technology. We're talking, I've missed ones of chat that has come in. And I know it's my bad. But, Danny, if people didn't hang on our every word, then there would be no content being really presented. So, I just got to kind of do the best we can, Danny. And if you're typing too fast, we can't read that fast, Danny, and we get mixed up. We're going to read the comments in the wrong order at that point in time, and it's not going to make any sense. But that's all right, Danny, because we're not watching the show, so it can be really in any order. It doesn't affect us. But see, Danny, that's where you're wrong. It affects you. And, while it might affect you, Danny, it doesn't affect us, so let's check this once a comment. We're going to read them in reverse now, intentionally. Usually it's by accident, Danny, but now we're going to do it on purpose. Show him my B-Day cake before... Oh, belong here. Oh, Danny, you belong here. Your cake's up there. We already showed it to you. You're going to have to rewind it and watch it again. We're going reversies. Give us a sec, though. Danny, you convince us enough, and we might just cut everyone a piece. Okay? We'll see, Danny. The night's young. And by young, it's kind of late, Danny. Why were you late? Oh, yeah, good stream was on. Well, Danny, you got to share those links with us so we can watch them, too. You know, we need as many points and tips as we can get, Danny. We can't all be good internet celebrities. That's why we call dibs on being a bad one. Like, you know, we're still a celebrity. You know that, Danny. That's why you're here. Because you're like, you know, everyone knows a celebrity. Or, you know, that degrees of separation, Danny. And you're like, you can tell people, I know an internet celebrity. Of course you do, Danny. You know us. We know you. Hell, we were at your birthday party. Not your official one. You didn't invite us to it. But, you know, Danny, what you did do is you made us give you a cake. And you didn't take that home with you. And it kind of spoiled. We tell you it's been hot here. Well, it has been, Danny. And that cake got disgusting. But what isn't disgusting was that party that we threw, which was sick, right? Disgusting. Anyhow, let's see this one's a comment that we need to reverse read. I knew you were at another stream. Oh, you don't have to admit it, Danny. We already knew you were. What we're saying, Danny, okay, the point is, we knew you were at another stream. That's why you weren't here, obviously. We should have all been at that stream, Danny. You know how many ones of people have suffered through this? Ones of people, Danny. That's kind of your fault, okay? If we knew that a good stream was going on, we wouldn't have started. You might be saying, well, there's always someone streaming somewhere. Fair enough, Danny, but, you know, eventually the crap's got to come on, or else there's going to be nothing that's good, okay? We have to set that ground floor expectation of dibs on being the best of the worst. That's us, okay? We know our place, Danny. We knew that your place was at that other stream before you even told us. You know, we got ears everywhere, Danny. You might be saying, are you a fed yourself? No, Danny. We just overhear everything in the cells from all the, you know, ones that are always around here these parts, okay? Don't worry about it, Danny. Not a big deal. You obviously didn't clear your cache, because you're probably being, you know, investigated now yourself. But that's okay, Danny. This is what happens when you make us bake you a cake. No one knows what's in it, you know? You can check all day. Looks like Rick's in your cake. You know what, Danny? Rick sure is in your cake. Here, Danny. If you need your cake shown, because you know celebrities, then let it be known. You know what? Lily hasn't been back, Danny. That's something else, too. And there's no point in her even sharing your cake anymore. Tell you that much. Oh, see ya, Lily. No more pieces for you. There. Danny, it's your cake only now. But Rick stuck his fingers in it. That's fine. Rick's great. He's our door guy. It's up there somewhere, Danny. It's going to have to stay there. That rainbow's kind of in the way. But there's one thing we can tell you, Danny. We probably missed ones of chat and doing all that, so we got to catch up. So talk amongst yourselves. Not in the chat box, though, please. We're trying to catch up on that. We've had ones of them come in. We get confused easy. Hey, I kind of miss the pirate stuff. You know what? We miss that pirate stuff, too. Turns out, that pirate still works for the channel. He usually does shorts. If you go to the channel, oh, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. Click on the channel. Go to shorts. The Kalimba pirate. Yes, yes. The Kalimba pirate is there. He's still there. I think he dropped 2 or 3 shorts today. We're not certain. Okay? We're Shyzabox. We don't know anything about this pirate except for the fact he works for the channel too. Okay? And by works for the channel, you know, I think they pay that asshole. They're not paying us, Danny. Tell you that much, you know. And we know I'm just a guy. We know that was you. Okay? But me and Danny go way back. So sometimes when we talk, you know, I got to address them, you know, first and foremost. Okay? Now, we know I'm just a guy. Eventually, we can have that relationship as well. Okay? But if we're being honest, Danny doesn't like us having friends. Okay? Danny says, no friends for you. That's my cake. There's only so many cakes we can spray paint, you know, before everyone just has to start sharing them. And looks like Danny doesn't like to share that much. Kind of selfish, Danny, if we're being honest, but, you know, however you choose to try and make friends, that's up to you. We're just saying, it takes a friend to be a friend, Danny. And I'm just a guy, looks like he's looking for just some friends. Okay, so, maybe Danny, you got to learn to share a little bit. Okay, so I'm just a guy. I'm sorry you didn't get a piece of cake, but if we're being honest, Danny doesn't like inviting people to her birthday anyway. Okay, did I ever tell you that she shared a cake with Lily once and made us kick her off of it and not even let her have any more of it? It's really a shame, because Lily might even come back one day, accidentally. Misclick, right? But Lily was probably smart and cleared her cache. Danny, we told you to clear your cache. It's the only way that, you weren't going to get investigated, maybe potentially even questioned somewhere down the road, okay? Because if we're being honest, Danny, we need a patsy at all times, every episode. If not, how could we afford to continue if we didn't apologize for the last episode? So, that reminds us, time for an apology. Sorry for the last stream. Excellent. All right, moving on. Let's check this other additional ones of chat. He did not. Excellent. Of course I can have a piece of the cake. I baked it. You know what? I finger knifed it before it even went out to the general public. You ever heard of taxes? Well, Danny, there's a thing called working in a restaurant, okay? Say you order a 10-inch sub, okay? It's made in the back of the house. Hell, it's made in the front of the house, but you don't see it, okay? Oh, you ordered the ultimate sub, okay? 10 inches, right? It gets made perfect beauty, okay? Of course, got to cut that sub in half for you, Danny. So we're going to do that. Okay? You cut that 10-inch sub in half. Well, you got 2 subs, Danny, right? Well, nothing wrong with half an inch of one being cut off. As a sample, send the rest out to table 8, motherfuckers. I got a snack. Nom, 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 nom. That's a horrible sandwich. I can't believe they ordered that. Anyhow, Danny, it's called taxes. And, believe you me, French fries, nachos. You think that your shrimp Alfredo comes with 6 shrimp originally? No, it comes with 7. You know where the other one is? In your server's mouth! It actually comes with 8. The cook ate the other one. And believe you me, that shrimp meal actually comes with 9. Management had to taste test! But you get 6, and you also get the bill. Pay for everyone else's shrimp, Danny. And that's the tax industry for you. So, you ever see those people that work at pizza joints, right? You get your pizza, Danny. There's ways to cut it where you can extract pizza and still make a perfect circular pizza. No one ever knows, Danny. You're missing 2, 1, 3 inches of pizza, right? You might be saying, that's not a lot of pizza. That's a good size, Danny. 1, 2, 3 inches. Yeah, that's a snack. Okay? We're not saying that it happens everywhere. We're not saying it happens all the time. But same way Uncle Sam loves his taxes and the IRS collects them, right? To everyone who pays them, right? Just kidding, IRS. Of course we pay our taxes. Or we're sure someone claims us. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. IRS, feds already got, everything on us. Just fucking talk with them. Danny, I think IRS is on to you too. You might want to watch out for yourself. Save your receipts. You're probably going to need them. Think you're going to get audited. But don't worry about it. We need a patsy, Danny. Unfortunately, that's you again. So, anyhow, disregard. And then we're going to check up with this other ones of chat. 3 inches is huge. Of course it is. Yes. That's, that's, if you have a 3-inch piece of pizza, okay? Now, if we're being honest, all right, a 3-inch piece of pizza, all right, that's still, obviously, yeah, like, the crust, sure. It's like a little stubby crust, but say you're Jesus on the hillside and you have 2 fishes and 2 loaves of bread, right? And you're trying to tax that shit so that you can have some for yourself, okay? You take 3 inches of that pizza, you cut it perfectly to where it lines back up, and you're good to go, Danny. Of course, 3 inches is a good size. So, let's check this other ones of comment. Forgot to wash the bills in the washing machine. Huh. That's the thing, Danny. You don't wash the bills in the washing machine. That's where people mess themselves up. No, Danny. you go and spend them other places and ask for change, things of that nature, right? A little bit here, a little bit there, okay? It's like, hey, you don't have any bigger bills for these 20s, do you? And some places are like, oh yeah, no, I needed change. Yeah, shit, I don't got to go to the bank. Job well done, Danny. Now, that business gets investigated for having those bills. Gotta think ahead, Danny. Now, we're not saying that laundering money's okay, because, believe it or not, Danny, it's illegal and no one should do it, and we're not advocating for it to be done, okay? We also aren't giving advice on how it should be done, because we don't know how to do it, and it's illegal, and no one should do it. But if there's one thing we know, Danny, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble with some of this stuff that you're talking about, so you might want to be careful, Danny. Just saying. Phone bust? Well, it shouldn't have. Stop buzzing my phone, you bastards. Trying to make a content. When's that start? I don't know. Nobody knows. Missed the pirate, yes, here. Have a piece, I did not. Wash bills. Hey, we're almost caught up. Great advice. No, that's not advice. We gave no such advice, Danny. You know, you're responsible for your own actions from 3 minutes ago forward. And by 3 minutes ago forward, we mean you're responsible for every action you choose to make, up to and including not deleting the cache when we told you to a couple streams ago. Okay, that's on you, Danny. Point is that we, under no circumstances, advocated, condoned, and or told you to do anything of the sorts because, believe it or not, Danny, that's illegal. So we know that you're completely joking and obviously aren't going to do any laundry of sorts pertaining to financial endeavors that you may or may not undertake or be privy to knowing about. But isn't that right, Danny? It's all just a huge joke, and it's illegal to do such, and that's why both you and I, Danny, this for your benefit, don't partake or condone in any of it, because only legal stuff straightforward. I mean, hell, we're talking about Jesus on the mound spreading fish and bread around, right? So, there you go, feds. This is a wholesome, pretty religious Christian show. Which it is. So there you go. Excellent, Danny. Well, now that I've cleared myself and, you're responsible for your own actions. Jesus was a launderer. Well, excellent. Yes, he probably had a lot of clothes to wash. They walked everywhere. Sometimes rode camels, but you can only imagine the smell, Danny. Now, we're not saying that we haven't ridden our fair share of camels and donkeys around, right? Hell, we ride a horse to work, Danny. Hey, hold on. Hey, management, give a call to studio. We got a communicator pin, Danny. We're able to get the studio to call us now at our whim. There they are now. Speak of the people who think they know how to run the place. Hey, we told Danny we rode the horse to work. Get that shit back in here. But I don't care if we sent it off packing. You go train, get down. John Wayne that shit with a lasso. Get the horse in here. We ride a horse to work. Danny hasn't seen it probably. She's late. She's watching other streams when we start. Uh-huh. Well, we'll tell her. Okay. Horse on its way, Danny. Give it a sec. But if there's one thing that we do know, it's that if you were on time, Danny, you would have seen us ride the horse into work. And whilst we're saying that, excellent. Here it is now. Hey, girl. All right. Excellent. Yes. So we ride a horse to work, Danny, but the point is that, hold on. Yes, girl. Thank you. Yes. We love you too. Thank you. Yes. All right. Danny. All right. Go. Get out of here. The horse you rode in on as well. Danny, if you weren't late to the show, you would have seen us ride the horse to work, and believe you me, it's not worth it at all, but you can go to a variety of iterations of videos that we have under live streams on the channel, and on occasion, yes, we ride our horse into work, just like we did tonight, okay? So however you get to work, that's your business, okay? Point is that we can only imagine the smell. So yes, there's a lot of laundry to be done. And, obviously, ain't no one want a stinky Jesus going around preaching, okay? It's like having a stinky teacher with bad breath over you going, now you want to underline the adjective. No, now I want to never take fucking English classes again and major in history. Minor in philosophy. Boy, was college a great experience for us. Anyhow, Danny, You couldn't have a smelly Jesus, okay? Everyone knows it's a sweet-smelling Jesus that reaches the, disciples a little better, okay? Now, we're not saying that Judas potentially took the laundromat money and didn't wash all the clothes. But those quarter machines take quarters, and Judas had about 30 of them mugs lying around at the end of the night, okay? Now, the Asteroids machine, the Pac-Man machine, the little vending snack machines, those are great in laundromats. But if you can't wash Jesus' sandals and clothes appropriately, and you want a not sweet-smelling Jesus around, then, that's probably not a good idea, okay? People frown on that sort of thing. You're not going to have the reach, okay? Thing about us, Danny, is you can't smell us through the internet, and that's a good thing. At least not yet. Now, maybe science and technology will keep up to itself, where it's like, man, let me take a whiff of that celeb, right? And it's like, oh, we get it. Yes, yes. Not only do we let people touch us through the screen, we'll let them start smelling us, right? Huh? A little too close, Danny. Hey, out of precautionary measures, I think you are ready and wait. But better safe than sorry. Danny, we like our personal bubble. Sometimes we just need to make sure that it's not invaded. So hands to yourself, Danny. Keep them in the chat box where they belong. Okay? Unless we let it be one of those touch-opportunities, which happen. You know that. But all ones of the viewer are privy to doing it. So there's plenty of space on the hand you all can touch. Okay? Maybe at the end of the episode. It's probably getting there, but it kind of had, we had to start over because you were late, Danny. So, that's on you again. Anyhow, let's see, this one's a comment. Get to work by Dune Buggy. Well, little Dune Buggy in the sand. Little Dune Buggy in my hand. Presidents of the USA. You ever listen to those guys? They have a song called Dune Buggy. And, believe you me, at one point in time, they were all the rage. Okay? TPOT USA, the Presidents of the United States of America. Okay? They had the songs like Lump. He's lump, he's lump, he's lump, he's in my head. Da, 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 da. Okay? They did Gump on it, okay? Like Weird Al and stuff like that, little parody. Right? They did Peaches Come From a Can. They were put there by a man in the factory downtown. But yes, the Presidents of the United States of America, the band, had a song called Dune Buggy. And if you've never heard it, Danny, you really should go listen to it, for being honest. We should probably go back and listen to it ourselves. It's been a minute. Hell, we don't even know if they've even reconvened or re-gotten together, Danny. Something that we do know that has reconvened, re-gotten together, that band Bush. That's right. Gwen Stefani's ex of the husband, who was in Bush, the band. You might be saying, those guys suck. And sure they do, Danny, but they also suck. And it's pretty good, though, that they stuck with it, embraced it, and brought all their fans a new album that's coming out very soon. They got a couple singles released. Pretty fantastic stuff. Now, if you don't like Bush, it's not really a treat. But if you're a fan of theirs, and we respect any artist's ability to release anything. Hence why we accept us doing what we do. Okay? But musical artists and such, even if you don't like it, even if you don't like their discography or agree with them, okay, it's great that they reconvened, got back together, and have something to present to their fan base, which surely is massive from back in their 16 Stone day all the way to here. Let's check the ones of comment. Ones of viewers. I get the whole hand. That's right. You do get the whole hand. Of course you do. Pop Culture Queen. Of course we are. And by Pop Culture Queen, as long as that means some iteration or form of the best worst celebrity out there, absolutely, Danny. We pretty much invented pop culture because we watched a lot of movies and TV shows. And if there's one thing that raised us, it was movies and TV shows, which inevitably became a form of pop culture. That's why we invented it, Danny. It used to not exist. And you might be saying, you didn't invent it by yourself? The entire world invented it? Okay, sure. Danny, we could split hairs all day and talk about just being a contributing factor to it versus inventing it, but, Danny, that's just splitting hairs. So, don't worry about it. But, that's just how it goes. Anyhow, we've done pretty good at veering off of science, veering off of technology, veering off of, the aspect of elements of how technology has come to be changed, implemented, created, devised. All right? All off of someone just seeing something. Okay? It ties into the pop culture, Danny. You see something, all right, that becomes a massive runaway successful hit movie or show or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, a young inventor, a young scientist gets the crazy idea to do science stuff and invent. And before you know it, you're walking around with an iPhone in your pocket that some other big executive at Apple's taking credit for. Like, look at all the money I invented, right? And then the, poor little developer that created the thing, like, I wish I had a working iteration. What do you mean I'm fired, right? Never hear from him again. You live in the basement now. Point is that, the pop culture, that influences the science fiction, it influences the technology, it influences all of the aspects of the elements of, science fiction in itself, pop culture in itself, where technology goes, is, becomes, and finally ends up being. So, we'll finish up here in just a sec. We'll take a swig. We'll check the chat box. But now is a fantastic time. If you feel like getting out of here before us, if you want to hit the road before we do, now's a fantastic time. We'll be dip-setting pretty soon, and we like to lock up on our way out. So, by all means, leave before us. Keeps us aware of all the sticky little fingers on the internet that might come and, well, if we're being honest, I guess we don't really have to lock up. We could dip set whenever, but we want to make sure, give ones of opportunity in case there's any other interactions that need to be done. Anything that we may potentially have missed. Unlikely. Because, let's be honest, we've covered a wide variety of a lot of stuff, right? And you might be saying that stuff wasn't pertinent. That stuff wasn't necessarily relevant, okay, to the topic at hand. But what it was pertinent to, what it was relevant to, was what we were talking about. So, like we said, science, technology, pop culture, they're all tied into each other. They're all influencing each other one way or another, okay? The pop culture movies of today are the science fiction technology of tomorrow. Okay? As we, hey, tell management to give us one more call. As we utilize the technology that's been given to us, we are finally at the point where, like clockwork, has it been long enough? Can we end the show yet? Uh-huh. All right. Good enough. Excellent. Science and technology, they said like another minute. Okay, we're going to hit the hour mark. All right, ones of views. Yeah. Well, hold on, Danny, we're not just going to dip on you. How do you feel about AI? Skynet in real life. Okay, Danny, you want to talk AI? Looks like we're going to be staying here for a sec. AI is the most fantastic tool that has been given to mankind when it's utilized appropriately for all of the things it can potentially offer, do, pull off, and even execute. Okay? That being said, there is a lot of talking points where there is some negative aspects that AI can be a part of, contribute to, and things like that. AI can be used nefariously to, do all sorts of stuff on the back ends of financial institutions, acquiring data of sorts that's looking for certain, things, pulling likely, information about users. Okay, there's a plethora of nefarious utilizations that AI can be used for. On the other hand, AI provides the most magnificent symbiotic relationship between organic life and computer technology entity being thought. Okay? Computing technology, maybe. It's a symbiotic relationship, okay? Because AI does stuff mankind cannot. Mankind does stuff AI cannot. The symbiotic potential there is life, okay? The means, measures, things that can be achieved are infinitesimal, unless that's the small one, in which case, the big one, okay? Learn the right word. Whatever. Sounds like learning. We all need to do it. But the AI has the potential to symbiotically, when not used for nefarious means, be the resulting greatness that can be achieved. Okay? So when you ask us, about AI, there's infinite good and infinite bad. Okay? Same thing with anything. Domino's rolls out a new cheese crust. Okay? There's a lot of good to that. People who like it are like, oh boy, cheese crust. Everyone else that knows how that shit's made is like, fucking disgusting. You should see them finger roll that shit into your crust. You better hope they've cleaned under their fucking fingernails, because you will never know. Anyhow, don't let us dissuade you from getting cheese stuffed crust pizza. We've just been privy to seeing it made a variety of times. And believe you me, not only do we not like that much cheese, but doesn't sound good to us. Anyhow, now we're not saying people don't wash their hands before they make your pizza. But, anyhow, AI has the potential to do infinite great and, when utilized inappropriately and maliciously, infinite bad. Look at all of the videos that AI makes. Better than anything we could ever do. Okay? AI's gotten to the point with those Yeti and those gorilla videos and stuff, which might be a little overdone now at this point, okay? But, all right, still has everything, okay? What it can't do is crap, right? That's us. AI still needs crap, okay? The world still needs crap. That's why we call dibs on the ground floor level. We guarantee everything that you watch had better be better than this, okay? Because we are the ground floor. Okay? Dibs. A Daryl Dixon, a dibs. You know that. But let's check this other ones of comment coming in. We've covered a little AI. Okay? It's infinite abilities. A symbiotic relationship that mankind can utilize for generations to come if done appropriately and utilized efficiently, effectively, and appropriately as well. Let's check these ones of chat. Very good answer. May I quote you in my top 10 influencers in the... Well, of course you can quote us. Why you would want to, we totally understand. But, if we're being honest, Danny, we better be the first quote in the article, because if there's one thing that you could even say, all right, and feel free to put any words in our mouth that you want, Danny, we'll back it up. We don't care what you make us say. But if we get arrested, Danny, you're going down with us. So you might want to be careful what you make us say. And we're going to deny it. If we, feds show up for us on your account and not on our own account, well, it's a whole different ballgame, Danny. But absolutely, you're welcome to quote us. Ad-lib anything you want. If it makes your article better, sure. We sell out in a heartbeat. And it's not uncommon for us to turn on a dime. So even if it's something that, doesn't necessarily paint us in a good light, we'll just say it was the writer that did a bad job. And unfortunately, that's you, Danny. So you better hope you paint us in a good light, or else we're going to, say it's your fault. When really it's just our own quote that inevitably is the downfall of it. But you're welcome to do whatever you want, Danny, of course. We give you our full release on our "a quote is to be used." That counts. And feel free to send an email to a punk rock review, spell it correctly, not the, one that does like the actual, more music history and runs like a music shop and stuff like that. Does live streams as well. That's probably what you were watching, Danny. Don't blame you. But, if you spell it right and you need to email it, it's at Gmail or whatever like that. It's in the description of the channel. Unfortunately, you'd have to go there, but you can find it there if you need a release of a statement thing. We communicate with ones of businesses that have done ones of business with the channel, believe it or not. Over almost coming up on a decade and 4,000 videos later, we have had to do one or two communications. But we are celebrities after all, so not good ones, but, dibs, ground floor level. Make sure we haven't. Every man for himself. Yes, excellent. So, there's an article, Danny, if we're being honest, that we had to read in one of our, intro to histories, right? And, we were a history major in college, Danny. Probably shouldn't have been, but we were. That's why we minored in philosophy, so we could fall back on something, like this. Really have it, not pay the bills, Danny. Anyhow, there's an article, all right, called "Every Man His Own Historian," okay? Man, who's it by, Tolbert, something like that. I don't know. We probably don't even know who it's by anymore. I mean, we could probably figure it out, Danny, but if we're being honest, sounds like research and work. And there's one thing we already paid to do. It's our own research and work when we were paying people to have us go to college. It's weird how that works. We're paying them to teach us, and we had to do that shit ourselves, Danny. But point is that there's a article, okay, an older article written called "Every Man His Own Historian." And the interpretation of events, things that one goes through in their own life, obviously, leads to the dissemination of their view on things and any portrayal of endeavors they undertake. So, Danny, from your perspective and your view, you're your own historian because you're obviously interacting with the best worst celebrity there is. Obviously, we go way back, You're like, I was talking with this celebrity guy, and it's like, who? We don't know who that is. He's a bad one. You wouldn't know him. Don't share a link, Danny. They'll stop talking to you. Believe you me. Family, too. Anyhow. Everyone, perceives it from their own angle, their own point of view. And with that, everyone's their own historian, their own take, okay? Winners record the history, but the losers who went through it, they might have a different take, different perspective, different view on it. And you might see works and articles and books and, magazines and public sentiment that comes out that contradicts a mainstream narrative, okay? We're huge, even in being historian people-ish ourselves, okay? We think history is a giant lie. We think we've been lied to this entire time. And it all stems from a little thing called Göbekli Tepe, okay? There inherently is the city in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, that they are refusing to unearth, okay? There's a channel called Bright Insight. It has a very wonderful, kept up roughly, summation of Göbekli Tepe and everything. You'll see it talked about, and, random shows here and there. Might not be your bag, maybe, sure. Your Ancient of the Aliens, whatever. But the city exists. It did exist. It's massive, and it is inherently thousands of years older than Stonehenge. Okay? Thousands of years older than Stonehenge. It flips history on its head. It flips archaeology on its head. It flips academia on its head. And people are so incumbent, they are so in their little chamber of, I already published my work saying this. That sounds like a lot of work to unearth an entire new city that says all of this shit is incorrect on the timeline. People don't want to negate their own works. People don't want to work against themselves, so they're going to turn a blind eye to it. Göbekli Tepe what? Let's just get through our lives and leave this realm and world, God willing, peacefully, and, continue on in whatever comes next. Or for those that doesn't come next, whatever. Whatever, you choose to follow. They don't want to contradict themselves. They don't want to go back over 3-4 decades, 40 years worth of work that they put in stating this. Okay? Because Göbekli Tepe fucks that shit up bad. And so there's the argument for past civilizations, past cultures, that rears its head again and again and again, historically, and us as historians who sit back, who have a college degree, okay, credentials, clout, what's that? A piece of paper. Because we feel we've been lied to about every historical aspect that we studied, that we were told was true, and now you have people that are in these fields of study that refuse to accept the fact that they were wrong. Okay? We admit we were wrong every day. We shouldn't have streamed yesterday. That's our bad. We shouldn't have streamed today. Our bad again. Probably shouldn't be streaming right now. Sorry about that. See, everyone makes mistakes. We can accept the fact and move forward. Then end the stream. We will. But the point is that if you can't accept the fact that history potentially is different from what was conceptualized, taught, implemented, passed down, instructed to, and there's stuff that contradicts it that you are not willing to look at informational-wise because it entails more work or disproves your life's work, it's unfortunate for humanity because you are inherently holding it back via your own works. You better preface every single new edition of your works saying, hey, new shit's out on the market, saying that a lot of stuff in here, timeline-wise, might not be as accurate as I originally thought it might have been. Accept it and move forward. Okay? It might just be a lot easier for us, okay? We accept the fact that we're the best, worst celebrity out there, okay? We know it's not going to get better. But, we know our place. We're not afraid to, kind of stick it out there and have it go and not be willing to tell you why this, that, and the other might have to change or might have to go this direction or that direction. When you have academia not wanting to inherently, go against their own works, their own stuff like that, it affects stuff negatively. We know you want to get your edge in word-wise and stuff like that. We're missing ones in chat. We'll get on it. We'll shush for a minute. We'll swig and we'll catch up. Every man for himself. Aliens are real. We are the aliens. Next stream, talk about aliens. Well, holy shit. How about this stream, Danny? And next stream. We round this one out, and sure, Danny, you want the next episode about aliens? You got it. Now, Danny, technically the next episode's probably going to be Chatty Coffee Crew. You know those assholes in the morning like their coffee. Rick. Rick loves to show up with his, big thermos. Kicks it for a minute. Sometimes Big JC, much love, rolls by. Even, Ryan, Josh on occasion. You never know who stops by, Danny. But if you want the next episode about aliens, well, you got it. You want aliens? You got aliens. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Of course, we can, touch on all of that, because fantastic. We love the thought of ancient civilizations and the potential thought that star people, ancient aliens, and we like to more view it ancient civilizations, were us. Yes, wholeheartedly. Historically, we see a lot of stuff that can correlate and support a theory like that. Now, we're open-minded to it being not correct, but it is definitely entertainable as far as the plausibility of it for there to have been an ancient civilization, aliens, okay, humanoids, us, close to us, okay, that, might have come, maybe dinked with some DNA of species, maybe that was then us, okay? I mean, there's a lot of plausibility to some of the stuff now. It's conjecture. Nothing's proven or anything like that, so got to state that as a disclaimer. All right, it's for entertainment purposes. When's that start? Well, we don't know. It's for discussion purposes. How about that? Doesn't have to entertain. It's open discussion-tainment. Okay? It's the form of entertainment that legally gets us out of anything that we could be liable for. It's called discussion-tainment. It's a new thing. We created it, obviously. And that's what this is. Discussion-tainment. Where we're not legally liable for any statement that this channel may or may not have on it, and we aren't necessarily responsible ourselves because it's discussion-tainment. We have to play advocate for, Joey's advocate for, a variety of, points and views to highlight the entertainment part of discussions. Hence, a discussion-tainment, and that's our disclaimer, and should cover all of our bases legally. Danny, we can commence with our random shit. So, the aspect of a advanced civilization, okay, being able to travel between stars, between planets, between worlds. Hell, we looking to go to Mars by 29, right? 2029? Is that what they have lined up? Whatever, okay? It's not unfathomable to think that a civilization that's been around for years and centuries and millennia, okay, if they're able to survive and maintain their culture for that long, okay, to go past the supernova events, to be able to spread out into the galaxies to maintain life, okay, because everything comes full circle and everything's always working to complete that circle itself, okay? So, same way that a planet starts, a planet ends. A sun starts, a sun ends. A life starts, a life ends. You have everything go full circle in what is life. And for there to be elements or, plausible arguments to be made that a group of beings were able to, as a civilization, come through and achieve travel and technology, science fiction that became technology, right? Ooh, tie into tonight's episode. You have elements of what they've brought in, okay, that potentially are very plausible. Very much could have happened, okay? And it would make sense for recorded oral histories to have some of the same lineage in its, talks, maybe some differences here and there. It makes sense for, ancient civilizations, if it has been around and there's been, mud floods and dust bowls and dust storms that have, covered up ancient cities and buried them. God knows what's under the Sahara, right? You got aspects of the rainforest unexplored, undeveloped, and whatnot. You got aspects of the United States of America unexplored, undeveloped, and if they are explored, you can't even get access to them, okay? There's a lot of crazy shit around the Grand Canyon. Get turned away at gunpoint by almost a clandestine military-like force at certain points and areas of it from what we understand and hear. Now, we haven't been turned away at gunpoint at the Grand Canyon, but from what we hear, it's not fully accessible. You're not allowed to fly over different parts of it and stuff per se. Now, again, we're not a big channel here. We don't have our Joe Rogan of the fact checker or our Tim Pool of the fact checkers. Okay? But from what we understand, there are portions of the Grand Canyon you cannot fly over. You're not allowed to. Okay? Probably the wind gusts are too heavy in those parts. Okay? Whatever the safety reason is that Uncle Sam dictates to you and me, that totally doesn't infringe on our right to know as, the American public, for, those Americans out there watching it. But, there's a lot of wonky elements to stuff, okay? There's a lot of wonky elements to all of the aspects of Antarctica. As a historian, to see 53, 54, 55, however many countries form treaties during times of war to not enact and engage in warlike combatant actions around Antarctica during World War II, for new countries to, join treaties surrounding that area, to not be allowed to go unchaperoned and unsupervised to Antarctica without heavy, approvals and, science reasons is the only reason you go there. Sure, they want to say, it's to protect X, Y, and Z, but there's a lot of elements in even books. Like we said, we're historians. We got a degree. We went to college. We did what they told us to do over and over again. Why? Fuck if we know. So that we could pay them a shit ton of money. But, it's almost like they lied to us about a lot of stuff. Okay? Now, we're not saying college doesn't have a place, obviously. We think that it does. For doctors, for dentists, for veterinarians, for the fields of study that need it. Otherwise, tech school or bust. Learn a trade, learn a skill. That's what you need, the reimagining, reawakening in the education system. That's what we feel. We've been substitute teachers before. Danny, you might not know this. We used to be substitute teachers. Now, high school level, we're teaching juniors and seniors what indexes and glossaries were in their fucking textbooks. We're not saying, Danny, that we're the most intelligent individuals out there. But holy shit, Danny, people shouldn't be getting to 11th and 12th grade without understanding how to not only use, but utilize a textbook as far as finding the information in it that, is fucking in it. Okay? There's aspects of the education system that lies to us, that tells us incorrect history, that refuses to reshape and reform its histories, and that inherently doesn't have a problem doing any of it. Okay? And they want your money to go to college, to, pay them for them to have you teach yourself what they want you to pick and learn out of the books that they have, only to realize that all this other fucking information out there contradicts the shit out of it. There's all sorts of ways you can throw money around. We ever try and peddle this $13,000 shirt we got for sale here? Of course we did, Danny. We know your offer stands 13 cents, right? We told you it's probably as good as yours, Danny, but we're holding out for the big bucks, okay? One day, Danny, one day. You and me, straight to the top. Then you get that exclusive interview that you wanted as, a writer, as such you are. We know you got great writings that you do, Danny. All your articles are fantastic. And believe you me, when we get to the top, Danny, well, the top of the bottom, which that's where we're at, Danny. We accept that, You get that exclusive article, Danny. It's yours, okay? You want that one-on-one exclusive content, all that information that all nuns of our viewer needs to hear. It's yours, Danny. It's yours, okay? Just say the word. Need an interview. Sure. It'll be fantastic. Well, for us. Not for anyone else who reads it, or for you for having to participate in it, or even write about it. But that's beside the point, Danny. Let's check this one's a chat. Get you a word in edgewise. Going to your TED Talk when you have one. Excellent. Everyone should go to it. Or not. Well, we'll see. But let's continue reading ones of comment. You know, Danny, if you're a fact checker, you're welcome to it. Hell, we trust you, Danny, mostly. So, sure, but we got no way to fact check you, so, we'd have to still make the disclaimer, unfortunately. But hell, Danny, you know what? We get the studio up and running, and we start playing with Joe Rogan, Tim Pool money. To be honest, Danny, probably going to happen any minute now. Million subscribers, here we come, Danny. Any decade now. So, you hang tight. 40 years from now, Danny, studio's going to be up and running. Absolutely, you're the fact checker. Quit any other goals or aspirations you had in your life. Because stardom, internet fame, here we come. Well, we're already there, Danny, ourselves. But, let's be honest. You can ride our coattails. And, in this case, our tie tails. Which doesn't really have a tail, but unless you consider this back part. You can sit on this back part, Danny. Not right now, though. We're wearing it. Get your own tie. I thought you were going to anyway. Anyhow, let's see the other ones in common you got. Fact checker needs a fact checker. Yeah, probably. Absolutely, fact checker needs a fact checker. Use a glossary and index when you're in the 5th grade. Yeah. So, that's the thing about learning how to use glossaries and index. You say you learned it in the 5th grade. Why are we babysitting high school classrooms and having to teach these kids as a substitute what the hell an index and glossary are? You want to look at the degradation of the educational system of America. This was back in, 2008, 2006, I don't know. Back in the earlier 2000s. You telling me that the education system got better? Well, granted, we stopped teaching, so there's a good chance it did, but it doesn't seem like it. It looks like a bunch of dumb shit we're seeing all the time, and a bunch of ridiculous articles coming out about dumb shit we see all the time. Not yours, Danny. Your articles are great. We read them all the time. We don't know where you put them, but, feel free to share that information with us, and maybe we will. But there's one thing that we do know, Danny. It's that, yeah, we would need a fact checker for the fact checker, but we really wouldn't, Danny. you can be the fact checker. We would just have to do a disclaimer for the fact checker. Until, we actually had, stuff up and running, Danny. So let's be honest, we can't go painting all of our crazy thoughts, views, and opinions in lights that aren't correct or true, necessarily, without having that fact-checking ability. And, believe you me, Danny, you've been slacking. Lots of stuff we've had to verify and needed help on, and you kind of dropped the ball, Danny. So, we almost fired you, but you're lucky we didn't. Because we were thinking, it's a volunteer position right now. So, you're not going to get paid, Danny. That's unfortunate. But, there's one thing that hopefully will happen, is we'll get paid from it one day, and then, we'll kick you a buck. But, point is, Danny, is that we got to swig this, because we're getting a little parched and need to wet our whistle. Excellent. We've been meaning to drink that for a while now. But, we know, like we said, everyone hangs on our one of word, and the show wouldn't be the show if we weren't here. It'd be better. So, that's how it goes. You guys should have asked for a different host. Who was asking for the pirate earlier? You guys want the pirate to host an episode? That's someone else. That's not us. That's the pirate on the channel. Yeah, but we'll tell you this, Danny. I don't think the pirate knows who you are, so if the pirate's hosting a live stream one day and you show up, we'll tell them who you are, obviously, but Danny, if someone talking about the pirate earlier that's on the channel, he'd make shorts, plays kalimba, really good. He's a professional kalimba player. Actually, channel's really lucky to have him. Don't know if you've explored the channel, Danny. We've got 4,000 videos. They're not good. You shouldn't explore it. But if you were to, there's a kalimba playing pirate. And yeah, dude plays the hell out of some kalimba. That's what they were asking for. But we were just saying, Danny, you show up to a stream, you see a pirate on here, and it's not us, okay? Be careful. Don't take offense. They don't know who you are. So, Well, tell them who you are, and obviously, most everyone who works at this channel watches all of our episode. But that's neither here nor there. What is here, Danny, is, unfortunately, pretty much the end of the night, because we're at the end of the night, mostly. So, excellent. Not a swig. Well, I don't know what it was, Danny, but what was it, a gulp, then? Don't gulp. Joey's milk. Bah. Swig. A chug. Something. I don't know. Small swigs, Danny. Stay hydrated. Very important. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. We're getting out of here, Danny. It's a good time to get out of here before us. We don't want to hit you with the door when we close up and lock shop. So, thanks for participating and hanging out, Danny. It's been a blast. Thanks for being our fact checker. Though, you were kind of slacking tonight. I don't think you really did your job. But, you know, it's important for you to be here because we wouldn't have a fact checker without you. So, thanks for showing up late and committed to the bit. I love it. Excellent. Well, I don't know what bit you're talking about, Danny, but, you know, you're a part of the show now, so you even got a cake here. Might want to clean out the fridge, Danny. You know, that shit starts molding. Management's going to start calling you, not us. Hey, management, give a call to the studio real quick. Communicator pin, Danny. That's how we get management to call us. Like clockwork, there they are. Hey, our fact checker won't clean out the fucking fridge, man. Shit's starting to smell. Uh-huh. Okay. That's fucked up. Okay. Well, Danny, unfortunately, said we got to do it, so that's kind of messed up. But I guess it is a volunteer position, and you technically don't have to do work. But, you know, Danny, that kind of makes your job a little bit in limbo, okay? Because, you know, if we're doing your job for you, Danny, why'd we hire you? So, we got some stuff to think about, but as for now, yeah, I mean, your job's not in jeopardy. It's just, you might get fired, Danny. We don't want you to worry, but you might want to worry. And maybe toss and turn tonight and not get a good night's sleep. Just knowing that, you might get fired. Okay, Danny, we don't want you to have a bad night's sleep. You're not getting fired. In fact, we're promoting you to head fact checker. Congratulations. Comes with more responsibility. You got to show up on time, but it's okay if you don't. So there's actually no more responsibility, Danny, because we make disclaimers before almost virtually every statement. So you actually don't even have to show up if you don't want to. Job's still yours. Congratulations. You're putting in as much work as the rest of us. But that's going to do it for us. So for all of you milling about in the yard, you're beginning to trample our azaleas out there and mush down our grass. We don't want your subscription. We want your money. So downvote the shit out of this and give us a buck. Get off our lawn.